Welcome to Daily English Corner. Today we are talking about making mistakes without losing your confidence.
And this is a topic that I think literally everyone struggles with at some point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
picture this. You have been practicing a presentation in English for weeks.
Right?
Yeah, you feel totally prepared.
Exactly. You step up to the front of the room, you look at the audience, you open your mouth, and you completely forget the word for budget.
Oh, no. That is just the worst feeling.
It really is. Your stomach drops, the whole room goes quiet. I mean, your face gets hot.
Right. It is a very physical reaction.
So today we are doing a deep dive into exactly what happens in your brain in that agonizing split second. And, you know, how to stop that one small error from ruining your entire week.
Yeah, and we are pulling from a really fascinating stack of sources today. We are covering psychology, daily habit building, and language learning.
A great mix.
It is. Because the mission here isn't just to talk about making errors in some abstract way. We want to actually change the vocabulary you use inside your own head when things go wrong, which is so important because how you process a mistake really determines whether you quit or keep going.
Exactly.
Let's start right inside that split second of panic, the immediate aftermath. It is such a physical sensation when things go sideways, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, maybe you freeze completely during a conversation.
Right. Or maybe it is just a clumsy morning. You wake up late, you put your shirt on inside out,
We have all done that.
you burn the toast, and then you accidentally drop an entire bowl of soup on the kitchen floor.
Oh, the soup on the floor.
Yeah.
In that exact moment, your brain does not offer a calm, rational reaction.
No, it definitely does not.
Right. It doesn't just say, oh, an accident. An internal voice arrives instantly to criticize you.
The inner critic.
Yes, the inner critic. And what is fascinating in our research is just how fast this voice operates. I mean, it judges the situation before the full story is even clear.
There is a story in our sources that perfectly captures this speed. It is about a language learner.
Oh, yeah, the recording story.
Right. So someone was practicing a new language and decided to record themselves speaking for just 6 seconds.
Just 6 seconds of audio.
Literally just 6 seconds. They played it back, and before the recording even finished, that inner voice arrived and essentially said, "Never do that again, you sound ridiculous."
Wow.
Yeah, and they deleted the file immediately.
It is a brutal reaction. But we really have to understand why the brain does this. It actually goes back to human evolution.
Like a survival mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is called the negativity bias. Thousands of years ago, if you made a mistake in front of your tribe, you might be left behind.
Oh, I see.
So your brain is wired to treat every social mistake or even every clumsy moment as a massive threat to your survival.
Wait, but I mean, isn't that internal warning system actually helpful sometimes?
I mean,
Like if that harsh voice tells me not to embarrass myself at a dinner party, isn't it just doing its job to protect my reputation?
well, it is trying to protect you, yes. But the problem is that it uses terrible logic to do so.
Terrible logic.
Yeah, the inner critic lies by magnifying small issues. It distorts reality.
Right, okay.
Like you burn one piece of toast, and the inner critic magnifies that event until it becomes undeniable proof that you are a completely disorganized, failing adult.
Oh, wow. So it takes a 5-minute kitchen accident and turns it into a permanent personality flaw.
Exactly. It takes the burnt toast and says, see, this is why you will never succeed at anything.
That is so heavy. And because that feels so terrible, we often try to hide the emotion.
We do. We try to cover it up.
The sources mention a very relatable scenario about this, actually. Imagine you are sitting in your parked car outside a dinner party.
Oh, this is such a good example.
Right. You have the engine off. You are feeling incredibly blue, just letting that quiet, heavy sadness sit there on your chest.
Just sitting in the dark.
Yeah, you sit in the dark for 10 minutes trying to put on a mask. Then you walk into the party, someone asks how you are, and you just force a big smile and say, "I'm fine."
We do that because society, and honestly the internet, constantly push this idea of endless positivity.
Oh, definitely.
You see it everywhere, like mugs and posters that say good vibes only, or choose happiness.
Right. Toxic positivity.
Exactly. But when you are sitting in that car, feeling terrible, or staring at spilled soup, forcing yourself to smile creates something called cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. Okay, so that is when your brain is experiencing a clash between two different realities, right?
Precisely. Your physical reality is stressful and messy, but you are forcing your mouth to say everything is wonderful.
And your brain knows you were lying.
It absolutely knows. And this clash actually creates a second layer of stress.
Wait, a second layer?
Yeah, because now You are not only upset about the mistake, you also feel guilty for failing to be happy.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So if forcing a smile doesn't work, how do we handle the frustration?
A great way to think about it is treating your stress or frustration like a passenger in your car.
A passenger.
Right. It is allowed to be in the car. It might even be useful because it points out things you need to pay attention to.
Uh-huh.
But you absolutely cannot let it take the steering wheel.
I love that.
Yeah, you acknowledge the frustration honestly, but you stay in the driver's seat.
That makes total sense. You let the feeling exist without letting it drive. But the
Exactly.
plot thickens, right? Because we don't just deal with this inner critic in isolation.
No, we definitely don't.
The moment the inner critic tells you that you are failing, it actively goes looking for evidence to prove itself right. And where does it look?
The worst possible place.
Social media and other people.
Yeah. This brings us to the comparison trap. When our confidence is already shaky from a mistake, looking at the outside world can completely destroy whatever motivation we have left.
Oh, for sure.
And the first trap we fall into is sharing our new goals way too early.
Oh, this is a big one. You decide to start learning English, or maybe you want to change careers. You are excited, so you announce it to your friends or post it online.
And what happens?
Suddenly, you are buried under unsolicited opinions. People start giving you advice you didn't ask for, or telling you their own negative experiences, or just questioning your methods.
And people often mean well, but those unsolicited opinions introduce doubt.
Right.
If you haven't built a strong foundation yet, hearing someone say, "Oh, my cousin tried that and failed,"
That is the worst.
it really is. It can make you second-guess your entire plan before you even take the first step.
Think of a new goal, or your recovering confidence, like a tiny spark of a campfire.
Oh, I like this analogy.
When you first start, you have to cup your hands around it. You feed it tiny pieces of dry grass.
Right.
It is very fragile.
Very fragile.
If you invite 5 people to stand around that tiny spark, they might accidentally kick dirt on it.
Right.
Or their unsolicited advice acts like a sudden gust of wind that blows the spark out completely. They basically use up all the oxygen before the fire can catch.
That is a perfect visualization. You
Yeah.
have to protect the oxygen around your goals. And the biggest oxygen thief in modern life is the digital comparison trap.
Social media.
Yes. The inner critic loves social media because it provides endless, unfair evidence against you.
Unfair because of the contrast, right? Like you are having a normal, messy Tuesday.
Exactly.
You spilled coffee on your shirt, you stumbled over your words in a meeting, you just feel tired.
A standard Tuesday.
Right. Then you open your phone
Oh.
and you compare your messy, behind-the-scenes Tuesday to a stranger's highly edited, filtered 5-second highlight reel on a beach.
And your logical brain knows it is a filter.
Sure.
But your emotional brain struggles to separate that two-dimensional image from reality.
It really does.
The gap between your messy moment and their perfect photo leaves you feeling completely inadequate. You start to feel like you're falling behind in life.
So how do we fight back against that feeling? If we are surrounded by highlight reels, how do we protect our fragile campfire?
Well, the research points to a very specific kind of resilience. We often think of resilience as just being tough or stubborn.
Like pushing through the pain.
Right. But true resilience requires intense selectivity. You have to carefully select what information you allow into your brain.
Selectivity.
Yeah.
Like choosing what to focus on instead of absorbing everything.
Think about a professional job interview.
Okay.
If an interviewer asks you, "What is your biggest weakness?" you don't list every mistake you have ever made since childhood.
Definitely not. You wouldn't get the job.
Exactly. You don't confess all your darkest flaws. You show self-awareness by selecting one specific area where you are actively improving. You control the narrative.
Right.
We have to apply that same careful selectivity to ourselves. We have to stop volunteering all our flaws to the inner critic and stop inviting everyone to judge our early goals.
We have to be the guardians of our own attention. I really like that approach. But let's shift gears for a minute.
Sure.
Because we have been talking about loud mistakes,
Mhm.
dropping soup, freezing on stage, receiving bad advice.
The obvious stuff.
Right. But sometimes the problem isn't a loud failure. Sometimes the mistake is just a quiet feeling of being stuck, which slowly drains your confidence day by day.
Yeah. We are talking about hitting a plateau. This is something every language learner and habit builder will eventually face.
It really is. A plateau is like walking on a very long, flat road in the desert.
That is exactly how it feels.
When you first start learning something, it is incredibly exciting. You memorize 10 words, you use them to order a coffee, and you feel like a genius.
Right. Your brain gives you a massive rush of dopamine.
Yes. But eventually, the flat rate begins. You study for weeks, and you don't feel any better at the language. The exciting rewards vanish.
And without those visible rewards, people start to feel stagnant. They feel like water sitting in a puddle, going nowhere.
There's a brilliant joke in our sources about this feeling. Did you see the one about the internet quiz?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So a person decides to take a deep, psychological internet quiz to discover their true life purpose.
As one does.
Right. They answer all the questions honestly, and the quiz results pop up and declare that their life's purpose is to be a traffic cone.
A traffic cone. It is so funny.
Just sitting there on the pavement in the rain, completely stagnant, watching all the other cars speed past toward their exciting destinations.
It is a hilarious image, but it taps into a very real modern anxiety.
It really does.
This fear of being stagnant creates a strange, heavy guilt when we aren't actively producing something. The guilt of being idle.
The guilt of doing nothing.
Yes, we have adopted this industrial mindset where every moment of rest feels like a crime against our own potential.
It is so true. The sources highlight the panic of a completely free Sunday.
Oh, the Sunday panic.
You know the feeling. You have no chores, no work, no plans. And instead of enjoying it, you pace around your apartment feeling this low-level panic, convinced you are forgetting a crucial task.
Yes, or like when you take a vacation.
Exactly. You spend thousands of dollars to sit in a beautiful beach vacation, and after 2 hours, you feel anxious because you aren't listening to an educational podcast or improving yourself.
We have convinced ourselves that rest is a luxury that must be earned through extreme suffering and hard work.
Which is so unhealthy.
It is, rather than recognizing rest as a biological requirement for memory and learning.
Let me challenge this for a second.
Okay, go for it.
If I am on that flat road, on a plateau, and I am not getting any better, and I am not seeing any new results, how do I know I am not just failing slowly? How do I know I haven't just become a lazy traffic cone?
That is a great question, and this is where we need to look at the neurology of learning.
Okay, lay it on me.
A plateau is not a wall. It is not a sign that your brain has stopped working. In fact, a plateau is the stage where your progress is moving from the conscious brain to the subconscious brain.
Wow, okay.
It is becoming deeper, not louder.
Deeper, not louder. What does that actually look like in the brain?
Well, when you first learn a skill, it requires loud, conscious effort. You are burning a lot of mental energy to translate a single word.
Right, it feels exhausting at first.
But during a plateau, your brain is doing background processing. It is building neural pathways. It is consolidating memories.
So it is working, just quietly.
Exactly. You are actually learning flexibility, timing, and nuance.
Yeah.
You can't measure those things easily on a test, so progress feels invisible. But the deep structural work is happening.
It's like your computer installing a massive software update in the background.
Oh, that is a great way to put it.
The screen looks completely frozen, but if you force it to restart, you ruin the installation. You just have to let it process.
That is exactly the mechanism. So the question becomes, how do we survive that flat road without going crazy from the guilt of feeling idle?
Right. And the sources suggest introducing intentional moments.
Yes. Intentionality breaks the panic of a plateau. Being intentional means doing one single thing on purpose, with your full attention, without trying to be productive.
Give me an example of that.
A great example from the research is eating a single dinner without looking at your phone or watching television.
Oh, wow. Just you and the food.
Just you and the food.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not take any extra time out of your day, but it changes how your brain processes that time.
Because you are fully present.
Exactly. You actually notice the texture of the meal. You slow your breathing. You prove to your brain that you can exist in a quiet moment without the world falling apart.
Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground today.
We really have.
We understand the evolutionary panic of the inner critic. We know how to protect our fragile campfire from the comparison trap.
Right.
And we realize that plateaus are just the brain doing deep background work. But on a practical level, how do we actually bounce back?
Yeah, it is the big question.
Yeah. When the morning is completely ruined, how do we keep going without quitting entirely?
The very first step is to stop setting traps for yourself. We often sabotage our own recovery by creating massive, impossible expectations.
Oh, we see this all the time with daily routines. Someone feels bad about their English progress, so they decide to create a flawless 9-step morning routine to fix their entire life.
Yes, the intention is good, but the design is disastrous.
Right. They plan to wake up at 5 a.m., do a 30-minute stretch, write in a gratitude journal, drink green tea, read 10 pages of a philosophy book, and study vocabulary.
All before they even leave for work.
Exactly. And it works perfectly for exactly one day.
Always just one day.
By Wednesday, they sleep through the alarm, skip the stretching, abandon the journal, and end up eating cold toast over the kitchen sink while frantically checking emails.
And immediately that inner critic returns and says, "See, you failed again."
It is a trap we build ourselves.
But you didn't fail because you lack discipline. You failed because that routine was designed for a fictional robot, not a human with a complicated life.
Right.
The massive expectation is what sabotaged you.
So if the 9-step routine is a trap, what is the alternative? How do we build confidence that actually survives a messy Tuesday?
You build a rescue point.
A rescue point.
A rescue point is one tiny, fail-proof action that you can rely on when everything else goes wrong. It has to be small enough that even if you are exhausted, stressed, and late, you can still achieve it.
Okay, give me an example of a good rescue point.
The sources give a brilliant one regarding morning stress. Light before information.
Light before information. I like how that sounds.
Before you look at a single email, before you check social media or read the news, you simply open the curtains and let sunlight into the room.
Oh, wow.
Or you step onto the balcony for 10 seconds.
That is so simple.
It is.
It isn't trying to fix the whole day. It is just ensuring that the stress of the outside world doesn't get the very first word in your brain. It is a micro-win.
Exactly. That micro-win stops the negativity bias from taking over. And this ties directly into the most important shift of all, which is changing your internal vocabulary.
Changing the words we use.
Yes. When a massive plan falls apart, your old vocabulary says, "I failed again," or "I am just bad at languages."
Which feels awful.
Because those sentences are heavy. They're final. They basically close the door on future attempts.
They sound like the end of the story. So what does the new vocabulary sound like?
The new vocabulary focuses on adaptability. Instead of saying, "I failed," you say, "I experienced a setback, and now I need to adjust my method."
Oh, I hear the difference.
Did you hear the mechanical difference there?
Yeah.
A failure is a dead end. A setback is just new data.
Right. It is just feedback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It slows you down, but it implies that forward movement is still happening.
It changes the way we view perseverance entirely.
It really does.
Because we have this Hollywood image of perseverance. We picture a movie scene where the hero is running through the freezing rain, pushing through agonizing pain, with a dramatic orchestra playing in the background.
But real life doesn't come with an orchestra.
No, it
It
doesn't.
usually just comes with a headache and a busy schedule.
Right. Real perseverance isn't about suffering silently until you collapse. The sources define it much more practically. They call it commitment with adjustment.
Commitment with adjustment. It is a very forgiving philosophy.
It means that if you have a terrible week, you don't pretend it was a good week, but you also don't quit.
Exactly.
You show up the next day, and you adjust the plan to fit your current energy levels.
To borrow a phrase from the gym, if the heavy plan fails, you don't throw the whole gym away.
Right.
You just lower the weight.
Mhm.
If you cannot study for an hour today, you lower the weight and study for 5 minutes.
Which is still progress.
It is. If you cannot speak fluently in a meeting, you lower the weight and focus on asking one clear question out loud.
Just one question.
Yes. You do not need a miraculous transformation to build confidence. You just need one honest sentence and one manageable next step.
Just lower the weight. That is incredibly practical advice.
I think so too.
So, to pull all of this together, what we have really discovered in this deep dive is that making mistakes, facing setbacks, and wandering through those boring plateaus,
Yeah.
they are not signs that you are broken.
Far from it. They are just loud, slightly rude forms of feedback.
Right.
They are biological mechanisms trying to tell you that your current method needs an adjustment or your massive expectations need a reality check.
Which brings me to a final thought for you, the listener, to take away today.
Okay, let's hear it.
We started this whole discussion by looking at our expectation of precision. We want our progress to be a clean, upward line. We want our mistakes to be easy to fix.
But life is chaotic.
Exactly. Human brains are messy. So, what if the ultimate goal of learning isn't to stop making mistakes entirely?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
What if the real goal is simply to make your recovery time shorter and a little bit kinder?
Wow, yeah.
What if your clumsy errors and your burnt toast are actually the exact clues you need to build a life and a learning method that truly fits who you are?
There's a powerful question.
Think about that the next time you drop the soup.
Thank you for listening to us. Bye-bye. See you next time.